Hello everyone, this is an output from the project LiveRur, the Living Lab research concept in rural areas. This video is about how to design a more sustainable and resilient business model with the LiveRur RAIN concept. First, we are going to see how this model works, and then we will show its applications to the Azores pilot Living Lab. Business models often fail for three reasons. Either because they do not meet the customer needs and expectations, or they do not consider the economic, social, or environmental impacts of the products and services they provide, or they cannot address specific challenges in rural areas. In LiveRur, an Horizon 2020 funded project, the aim is supporting businesses, projects, and initiatives in designing innovative business models in rural areas, moving towards a circular economy and including all important stakeholders by following the Living Lab approach. In combining these ingredients, a new business model concept has been created, the Regional Circular Rural Living Lab Business Model Concept RAIN. RAIN is short for Regional Circular Living Lab. It is a new viable business model concept for rural areas that merges sustainable business model design, circular economy, and the Living Lab approach. The objective of RAIN is to provide a step-by-step framework for developing a business, a project, or an initiative or any other activity in rural regions. The target group for using RAIN is everyone who wants to start a sustainable, circular business model in rural areas. The RAIN concept integrates three layers: the RAIN core elements, the RAIN principles, and the RAIN real-life setting. The RAIN core elements capture the essential parts or chapters of a business model. It has the shape of a puzzle to show that core elements are connected to each other to form the big picture. Also, there are relations to a business model environment, the outside world. The 9 elements comprise vision, that is, the business idea, product, service and process, people, resources, management or organization, financial aspects, marketing and distribution, research and innovation, implementation and development. The RAIN core elements are embedded in what we call the RAIN principles. When designing each core element, make sure to consider those principles. The RAIN principles have been developed and structured as an outcome of the LiveRur project. These principles are social, economic, and ecologic sustainability, open innovation, ICT, stakeholder involvement and openness, and circular economy. The environment or the outside world in which the activity takes place also needs to be taken into account. It was called the RAIN real-life setting, which limits or enables a business model. It comprises environment and climate, the economic context, the societal context and social infrastructure, the rural technical infrastructure, the legal, institutional and political framework, and food security and safety. Now, how do you implement the RAIN concept for designing your business model? 5 tasks have been established for applying RAIN. First, take one RAIN core element. You may want to start with the central piece of the puzzle, the vision, and the business idea. To assess your regional specificities, you need to consider in your business model. Take the real-life setting worksheet, which will be shown in just a moment. Second, choose one of the suggested methods to work on the respective RAIN core element and follow the working steps for elaborating core elements, which are: to clarify the status quo, to set goals, to integrate the RAIN principles, which we will be addressing later on this video, to draft measures, to specify responsibilities and timelines, and to evaluate and rethink everything. Then, write down what you have worked out for this one core element. This corresponds to one chapter of the business model. After that, choose the next core element and follow the tasks 2 to 5 and the working steps again. After you are all done with all 9 elements, a RAIN business model plan will be ready. Which of the elements you will be choosing to elaborate on and how thoroughly you will be working on them depends on your resources as well as on the type, number and qualification of participants that are co-designing the business model. As mentioned before, we will now be showing the template for elaborating your real-life setting. The RAIN real-life setting addresses the given physical and non-physical environment which may limit, enable or in an ambivalent way affect the business. The RAIN real-life setting is structured by the 6 before mentioned topics, which may represent regional opportunities or challenges which might be of importance for designing a project. Environment and climate, economic context, societal context and social infrastructure, rural technical infrastructure, the legal, institutional and political framework, and food security and safety. Each topic should be described qualitatively and quantitatively and assessed considering what they are to the business model: neutral, an opportunity, or a threat, challenge. Here you have a part of a table elaborated for one Livreur pilot region as an example. A real-life setting has been elaborated for each of the Livreur pilot regions. It may be refined if more project-specific aspects come up. When working in another region, one of the first tasks is to get a clear idea of the real-life setting. Let's check out a RAIN Principles worksheet which exists for each of the 9 RAIN core elements. It contains a short description of the core element and suggested methods for working on it. It also shows the 7 RAIN principles with some hints on what to consider in each case. To follow up on this example, let's take a look at a summarized version of a complete RAIN business model, this time in the Azores Pilot Living Lab. To create the Azores Pilot Living Lab under the Livreur project, it is vital to be considering the Azores real-life setting and the region's characteristics, but also Tarinov's ability to contribute to the business model. The real-life setting has been evaluated by each partner region in Livreur. The Azores Regional ID card contains a comprehensive assessment of its strengths and weaknesses. This information helps in understanding how the Azores is faring in what regards the RAIN principles. As this simple table shows, there are a lot of opportunities, but also many features that may hinder the business model. Each of them must be considered carefully. When considering the Azores real-life setting and its RAIN principles together with Livreur's goals, it is possible to develop a business model for the Pilot Living Lab aiming at innovation in the Azores milk supply chain in order to create sustained competitive advantages. This is only a very summarized overview of the project. When writing everything down and establishing the proper connections between the pieces of the puzzle, you will get a much more detailed understanding of the business model. For further details on the RAIN concept, check out the Livreur website. Thank you for your attention and good luck with your businesses.